Hi everybody, it's Miss Debbie, and today we have some fun things to talk about. We're going to talk about animals in the winter. But first, got my auto harp. So if you know the words, go ahead and sing along with me. You ready? Here we go. The more we get together, the more we get together, the happier we'll be. For your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends. The more we get together, the happier we'll be. Good job, guys. I hope you sang along. Well, let me put my auto harp down. Okay, and like I said, we're going to talk about some special animals. Animals in the winter. Now, we don't see in the wintertime all the animals we see during the warmer months. Some animals are gone. It's too cold for them. They'll go south. Some animals go to sleep. And the ones we do see, they're usually out scurrying around looking for food because there's sometimes not a whole lot of food to find in the wintertime. So they have to work a little harder. I want to show you some animals that like the cold and see how many of these you might know already. What is that? It's a kind of a bear, isn't it? But what kind of bear is that? We can tell by its color because it's what color? White. And a white bear is a polar bear. Polar bears like the cold. They live way, 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 way up north. Ooh, do you know what that is? What's he doing? He's howling. Oh, can you make a howl? This is a wolf. Can you howl like a wolf? Try with me. Oh, look at his nice warm coat. He doesn't mind the cold. Oh. What is that? That's another animal that we would see in the wintertime. That's a snowy owl. Why do you think they call it a snowy owl? You have any ideas? You think maybe it's because he's all white and looks like snow? What does an owl say? Can you say it with me? Hoo hoo, hoo hoo hoo. Let's see what, oh my goodness. One of my favorites. You might have seen these at the zoo. It's a seal. Seals don't mind the cold weather either. That water can get pretty cold in the wintertime, but a seal is okay in the cold. I know you know what those are. What are those? They're penguins. Look at those pretty penguins. They certainly like the cold. They live where it's very cold. And one more animal. Look how big that is. Do you know what that is? Look at those big long tusks. That's a walrus. And walruses also don't mind the cold. They live way up north too. Now, animals can do some really interesting things when it turns cold and wintry outside. And I have some pictures of what they look like in the summer and what they look like when it gets cold out. Look at that bunny. That's a snowshoe hare. And the top picture shows what he's like in the summer. And what color is he in the summer? He's brown. But when winter comes, look how he changes colors. Now he's white. That helps him hide with all the snow around so other animals wouldn't catch him. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, that's a weasel. He also turns white in the wintertime. And this is the fox. You're like the bunny. This is an Arctic fox. And he's brown in the summer, but he goes all white in the winter. Now these are, we'll see around here. These are goldfinches. And in the summer and spring, they're pretty yellows up there. And then when it gets colder, they're still around in the wintertime, but they get browner. They lose a lot of that yellow color. You still see a little bit of the yellow, but it gets more brown colored. And one more. This is called a ptarmigan. And that's a type of bird that also goes white in the wintertime. Isn't that interesting that those animals can do that? Some animals hibernate when it gets cold out. Do you know what hibernate means? It's a big word. What they do is they find a nice cozy place to sleep. And they go in there and they sleep all winter long. These are some animals that we can see sometimes during the summer, but we won't see them in the wintertime because they're hibernating. Let's see what's there. That's a bat. And that's a flat-tailed dwarf lemur. Groundhogs. Ooh, we know what that is. What is that? That's a snake. We don't see snakes. Or bumblebees. Or snails. Oh, skunks. I'm glad they're hibernating in the wintertime. Watch out come February, though. They tend to come out then. Oh, look at the little hedgehog. He's doing it. Oh, what's this? Do you know what that is? That's a turtle. That turtle also hibernates in the winter. And that's a wood frog. Frogs hibernate in the wintertime too, along with this little bird, which is called a common porwills. A lot of animals sleep all winter long. Let's see if we could figure out where some of these animals might sleep. I have a picture here of different places that animals like to hibernate in. I have a tree, ooh, a cave, and then two places underground. Let's see what animals we have that's going to hibernate in those things and see if we can figure out where they would hibernate. The first one I have is a bunny or a rabbit. Do you think a rabbit would be up in a tree? I don't think you could get up there. A cave? He could get inside a cave, but I think he'd be much happier in a little hole under the ground, in his burrow. Let's see what else we have. Can you tell what that is? That's a squirrel. Now, where do you think a squirrel would want to be in the winter? Now, I see squirrels running around because they're always eating my bird seeds, so they don't all hibernate, but they need a nice warm place to be. So I think this little guy's going to be in the tree because he could climb trees really good. Oh, how about this guy? What is that? Can you tell? Look, he's got a tail. That's a snake. He's all curled up. What does a snake say? And it goes, sss. Can you hiss with me? Do it. Sss. Will he be in a cave? Oh, he could, but I think he's going to be much happier under the ground. Snakes live under the ground too. We have some holes by our wood outside, and I've seen snakes pop up in that even in the summertime. So they're going to be under the ground. And I have one more who hibernates in a cave. Do you have any idea what might hibernate in a cave? Could it be a bear? Yeah, can you growl like a bear? Growl, that's a bear. And look, he's sound asleep. So I'm going to be real quiet because I don't want to wake him. And I'm going to put him in his place in the cave. And now all the animals are sound asleep. So we'll let them sleep until summertime and springtime comes and it gets nice and warm. And then they can come out and we can see them out and about in our neighborhoods. Maybe not the bear, but certainly the other animals. job, guys. I have a rhyme I want to teach you, and I'm going to need your help in doing it. The rhyme is called The Bear. But first, you need to make a fist. Can you make a fist? Okay, here we go. Here is a cave, and inside is a bear. This is our bear, so we're going to put him inside. So put your thumb inside your fingers. Okay, you ready? Out the bear pops to get some fresh air. Okay, we got to put him back in. Snow covers the cave like a fluffy white rug. And inside the bear sleeps. Make him sleep. Can you snore like a bear? All cozy and snug. When spring comes again and the snow melts away, out the bear pops, all ready to play. Have him play. Let him play around. He's happy to be out. Can we try that again? Okay, let's do it again. All right, get your fingers ready. Make a fist. Okay, here is the cave, and inside is the bear. Put that thumb inside. Out the bear pops to get some fresh air. Put him back in, though, because the snow covers the cave like a fluffy white rug. But inside the bear sleeps. Make him sleep. All cozy and snug. When spring comes again and the snow melts away, out the bear pops, all ready to play. Make him play, because he's pretty happy to be out of that cave. He's been in that cave for quite some time. So, well, bears hibernate in caves, but I have a story about a little mouse. And mice don't hibernate, but they do need a nice warm place to live when it gets cold outside. Sometimes they pick places that we might not like that they've picked. I've had a few times when a mouse picked my house as a nice warm place to live. And I wasn't real happy about that. But my story is about a little mouse who lives in a forest. And this little mouse loved to play outside. He played all summer long. He loved playing in the warm summer sun. He played day in, day out. He played so much he didn't even notice all his friends were getting busy running around because it was getting to be fall time. And they were looking for food. They were looking for a nice warm place that they could live when the winter would come. But the little mouse didn't notice, and he just kept playing under the sun. Till one day, that nice warm sun wasn't as warm as it used to be. And that little mouse felt the cold wind blow. Can you blow like a cold wind? Ready? Make a big breath, get and blow. That little mouse got so cold. He felt that cold wind blowing, and he looked around and saw all his friends were gone, and he said, uh-oh, I better find a nice warm place to live. And he scurried around, and he looked, and he looked, and he looked, and he looked. Couldn't find anything. And he came upon a big brick wall. Now, he looked at that wall, and he noticed there was a little spot, a little opening in that wall. And he thought, wow, maybe I could make that opening bigger, and that could be my place to live in the wintertime. So the little mouse sat back, and he thought, what can I do to make that spot bigger? Now, what do you think that little mouse can do to make that spot big enough that he could get inside? He thought, well, I got some nice claws. And so he started to claw, and he started to dig, and he started trying to make that hole bigger, 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 and he worked, but didn't work. So he sat back and he thought again. Now, what do you think else he could do? He thought and he thought. He said, oh, maybe if I could find a stick, I could help chisel out some So did you think a stick? If you did, that's what the little mouse thought of. And he went and got a stick. And he poked and he prodded and he poked and tried the best he could, but still didn't work. He thought, well, maybe I'll go get some of my friends, but he couldn't find any of his friends. They were already in their nice warm homes. He was about to give up when he thought, I have some nice sharp teeth. Maybe I can chew at it and gnaw at it and make it bigger. So that's what the little mouse did. He went and he chewed and he gnawed and he chewed and he gnawed and chewed and chewed until he did. He made that hole bigger. He was so happy. He squeezed and he wiggled and he pushed and he shoved and he made his way into that little spot until he was nice and snug and warm. And that little mouse thought, I'm so lucky. He peeked outside his door and he realized how lucky he really was, because right then it had started to, what's that? Snow. Luckily, that little mouse was able to get inside his nice warm house before all the snow started to fall. And that's a little mouse that might not wait so long next year before he finds a nice place to be in the winter. I have a song that I'd like you to sing along with me. And it's called The Weather's Getting Cold. And it's to the tune of The Wheels on the Bus. So I think you can follow along easy. It goes like this. The weather's getting cold, so bundle up, bundle up, bundle up. The weather's getting cold, so bundle up. Winter time is here. The bears in the cave sleep all the time, all the time, all the time. The bears in the cave sleep all the time. Winter time is here. The squirrels in the trees, they gather nuts, gather nuts, gather nuts. The squirrels in the trees, they gather nuts. Winter time is here. The frogs and the toads go deep in the mud, deep in the mud, deep in the mud. The frogs and the toads go deep in the mud. Winter time is here. The ducks and the geese have flown south, flown south, flown south. The ducks and the geese have flown south. Winter time is here. Good job, guys. Yep, all those animals have different things that they do when it gets cold. And we need to bundle up to stay warm. I want to tell you one of my very favorite stories, and it's called The Mitten. And in this story, it's about a little boy and his grandma. And they lived in a cabin in the forest, in a place where it snowed most of the year. Snow covered the ground almost all year round. And this little boy was getting bigger, and Grandma decided he needed a new pair of mittens. So she asked him, "What color would you like me to make your mittens?" She was going to knit him a pair of mittens. He thought about it and he said, "I would like some white mittens." Grandma looked at him and she said, "I don't know if that's such a good idea," she said. "With all that snow outside, when you're out playing, if you drop one of those mittens, you'll never find it." Little boy said, "Don't worry about it, Grandma. I won't lose a mitten. I can take care of it myself." So Grandma said, "Okay." And she knit him a pair of mittens. But she told him that first, when you come in from playing outside, I'll check to make sure you're okay. But second, I'm going to check to make sure you have 2 mittens. So Grandma made him a pair of white mittens. And out he went one day to play, wearing his new white mittens. And he got busy playing, and he didn't realize that he had lost one of his mittens. It had fallen out of his pocket, and off he went. Well, that mitten was laying in the snow, and along came a little mole. And that mole saw that pretty warm mitten. She thought, ooh, this will be the perfect place for me to get nice and snug and warm. And the mole went inside the mitten. Mole was pretty happy in that mitten. And there came, do you know what that is? What's that? It's a bunny. Along came a rabbit. And the rabbit saw that mitten and that mole nice and cuddly warm, and she said, I want to be warm too. So in went the rabbit. Mole wasn't quite so happy, but he thought, that's okay. The rabbit can share space with me. Before you know it, though, along came a hedgehog. Now, hedgehogs have prickles. And the hedgehog saw those animals in that nice warm mitten and said, I want to be warm. And so the hedgehog went inside the mitten too. Now the mole and the rabbit saw those prickles on the hedgehog and thought, we're not going to mess with you. You can come on in. That's not a problem. So all of them were nice and snug and warm inside the mitten. Looks pretty strange, doesn't it? Well, an owl was flying by, and he thought, what in the world is that down there? And he swooped down, and he saw all those animals nice and snug and warm in that mitten. Thought, I want to be warm too. So the owl made his way inside the mitten. Well, look at all those animals inside that mitten. Before long, there came a badger. Badger wanted to be warm too. He thought, I think there could be room. I'm just going to squeeze on in. And so the badger squeezed on inside the mitten. Look at all those guys inside that mitten. Along came a fox. Fox didn't know what that was, but those animals looked awfully nice and warm and snuggly. So he thought, I think I should be in that mitten too. And the animals saw that fox's sharp teeth and thought, we're not going to argue with him. And so in squeezed the fox. Okay, give me a minute here, gang. In squeezed that fox. You won't guess what came next. Along came a bear. Do you think a bear's going to fit in this? Well, the bear thought he could, and he thought it looked awfully nice and cozy, so the bear squeezed inside the mitten. Uh-oh. 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 All the animals were inside that one mitten, all crammed and cuddled and soft. And they were pretty happy until along came a little mouse. That little mouse wanted to be inside there too, but he couldn't find a spot. So he said, well, I think the bear's nose will be warm. So he went right on the bear's nose, and his little tail tickled the bear's nose, and he wiggled it back and forth, until finally that bear started to sneeze. Can you sneeze along with me? Make a big sneeze. Let's go. Achoo! And all the animals flew out of the mitten, and the flew up in the air. Well, the little boy had realized he had lost his mitten, and he was looking around and he saw a mitten in the air. So he ran and he caught it. And he thought, whew, Grandma's not going to be mad at me because I've got 2 mittens. So he went back home. And when he got back to the house, he saw his grandma, and the grandma asked him if he was okay, and he said he was fine. And she goes, okay, now I want you to show me your 2 mittens. He showed her his first mitten, and then he showed her his second mitten. Grandma had no clue what happened to that mitten. Now, I like telling this story with the puppets and the mitten, but if you ever want to see a beautiful edition of the story, look for Jan Brett's version of the mitten. You can actually go to her website, and she prints out things that you can use from some of her books, and she has something for the mitten. You can print out a mitten, do 2 of them, and the animals. See, there's our animals, the owl, the hedgehog, the fox, the rabbit, the mole, the badger, the bear, and the mouse. And you can put them in there. What we do when we do story times is we'll take these patterns and we'll actually make mittens that we lace together, and we'll give you some, and we give you copies of the animals that you can put inside your own mitten when you come for story times. And that's the mitten. Since we've been talking about animals in the wintertime, I thought it would be nice if we made something that we could help them find for food in the winter. So, with me, I have some pine cones. I have a little piece of a straw. I have something that I'm going to cut a shape out with, but you can use cookie cutters at home. I have a very stale piece of bread. I have some peanut butter. I have some bird seed and some yarn. What we're going to do first is make something with this piece of bread. What you can do is take whatever shape you want to do and put it on the bread and push down real hard, and you can come out with a shape. Now, I'm going to want to hang my piece of bread. So I'm going to take a straw and I'm going to poke a hole in the bread to help me hang it. Because I'll probably put it on a tree somewhere. See the hole? And I'll take my yarn now before it gets all messy with the peanut butter. And I'll put it through there. And I'll just tie a knot at the ends. Okay. Now I can hang it. Just a piece of bread. So, take some peanut butter. I have a knife, and I'm going to spread it on the bread. And I'm going to probably spread it on both sides, because I want them to have a lot of food to have. So I'm going to spread it on the other side, so it's nice and covered. Let's get my thing out of the way. Now all I have to do is take my bird seed and sprinkle it on. Let's get it closer so I don't make a big mess. And I'm going to sprinkle it on. See how it's stuck? Let me pick this up so that you can see. See how it's stuck to my bread? And I'll do it to the other side. And sprinkle it on. And now I have something that I can hang on the tree that the birds can eat. I think they'll like that. It's got some nice seeds in there. You can also do the same thing with a pine cone. Just grab any kind of pine cone. Good thing to do first, though, is to put your string on it too, like we did with the bread. And with the pine cone, I kind of just wrap it around the end, but then I have to tie the ends together so I have something to hang it with. So I put a knot at the end. It gives me a way to hang it. Then get your knife and your peanut butter again and just smear it all over the pine cone. Just smear it wherever you can. You can't go wrong. Stick it in the little holes, stick it on the ends, just smear it. And I think after I'm done this, I'm going to take it outside and I'm going to hang it on one of the trees around the library. So if you're close to the library when you come by, you can see if you see it anywhere out there. Okay. I think it's pretty covered. I wanted to use up all my peanut butter. And I think I got it all there. All right. So, see how it's all covered with peanut butter? Now, with this one, since I already have some in my plate from the bread, I'm just going to roll it in there. At the same time, I'll probably take some more, just to cover it up really good. Ooh, if I was a bird, I would think that's pretty yummy. See my pine cone now? Look at all that seed on the pine cone. Now I'm going to take it outside. I'm going to hang it on a tree and hope some little hungry bird really likes the peanut butter and the birdseed. Well, before we go today, I want to talk to you about something that you could find on our website. If you go to Mason Public Library's website, you will see a place where it's a database is called Day to Day, or Before we go today, I want to tell you about something really cool that you could find on Mason Public Library's website. It's a place that you can go. It's called Day by Day, Ohio. And it's a link that you can hit from the website. And it has finger plays and songs and book suggestions and activities, all kinds of fun things to do. So when you get a chance, I hope you go to the website and check that out. It's pretty cool. Well, I'm so glad you were with me today. Let's get our fingers together and we'll sing our song. And we'll be done for the story time. All right, guys. If you know the words, sing along. You ready? Here we go. The more we get together, the more we get together, the happier we'll be. For your friends are my friends, and my friends are your friends. The more we get together, the happier we'll be. Well, thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. I had a lot of fun talking about winter animals, and I hope you did too. Hopefully, you'll be able to make some of the things we did and help feed those little animals that are out there. It's a lot of fun. And if you do, put it someplace where you can see it, because it's a lot of fun watching them also have a treat that you've left for them. Hope you guys had a good time and hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye.